declared memberships of the world's largest political organizations. The Bharatiya Janata Party, or BJP, claims over 180 million registered members, more than any other party currently on this list. That numerical advantage translates directly into territorial control. The party governs a massive swath of the Indian subcontinent, securing power across more than a dozen states and directing policy for hundreds of millions of citizens. Yet, if you look at the 1984 national elections, this exact same party secured a grand total of exactly 2 parliamentary seats. Scaling a political organization from 2 seats to global numerical dominance requires an incredibly specific, heavily engineered operational structure. The party built a dual-engine machine, one that generates intense mobilization on the ground while maintaining severe top-down control. To understand how a single organization commands this much influence, we have to dissect the structural pillars that hold it up and examine the inherent fault lines threatening to crack its foundation. The first pillar is ideological unity. Rather than relying on fractured regional voter blocs, the party unified a massive, disparate electorate around a centralized cultural and nationalist message, bypassing traditional caste and class divisions. They delivered that message through a strict cadre-based architecture. Instead of operating as a loose network of political patrons handing out favors, the BJP utilizes millions of dedicated, ideologically trained workers acting within a rigid hierarchy. This structure drills all the way down to the micro level. Central directives flow down to state committees, then to district branches, and finally to individual booth-level workers. These workers are often assigned just a single page of an electoral roll, making them directly responsible for a tiny, manageable block of 30 to 60 voters. This architecture results in a highly disciplined mass mobilization. Thousands of supporters are arranged in dense, organized blocks, each carrying standardized party signage to create a unified visual front. They reinforce this presence with strict visual branding. By blanketing rallies with identical orange caps and distributing masks of national leaders, the party projects an aura of absolute conformity and omnipresence. This vast human infrastructure allows the party to completely bypass traditional media. Millions of party workers use direct door-to-door visits and highly localized messaging groups to interface with individual voters every single day. This hyper-local network is the primary engine of the party. It takes abstract national ideology and translates it into guaranteed, physically measurable voter turnout at the polling station. But an engine that massive requires an equally powerful steering mechanism. The grassroots workers mobilize the base, but they do not dictate the strategy. Macro strategy is locked within an exclusive, top-down decision-making apparatus. A tightly controlled central election committee holds a firm grip on party discipline, deciding candidate selections and national policy behind closed doors. This centralization is a major tactical advantage. It allows the party to launch unified, rapid-response national campaigns with zero dissenting messaging. Everyone, from cabinet ministers to local workers, speaks with exactly the same voice. However, that exact same iron grip generates the party's first critical weakness. Severe central control heavily restricts regional leaders, creating deep friction with local politicians who need autonomy to manage the specific realities of their home states. This centralization also creates an intense over-reliance on a singular, charismatic national leader to win local elections, a strategy that often struggles when voters prioritize local governance over national ideology. We see this vulnerability in distinct geographic blind spots, particularly in southern states. When centralized messaging clashes with deeply rooted regional identities and local cultural pride, the national strategy frequently falls flat. Furthermore, operating a machine of this size induces expansion fatigue. Keeping tens of millions of workers in a constant, aggressive state of electoral mobilization causes severe logistical strain and burnout. The centralization that ensures strict national discipline is the precise structural fault line that threatens to trigger regional defections and internal fracturing. The BJP's power relies on a continuous feedback loop. Strategic directives flow down from central command, while voter data moves rapidly up from the booth level. But when local leaders rebel or regional voters reject national messaging, that crucial loop breaks, severing the party's connections. The sheer scale of this organization shifts the entire political landscape. Its presence establishes a new environment where competition is defined by an entity capable of managing data down to the individual household. Moving forward, the ultimate test for the BJP is no longer acquiring more scale. The true challenge is managing the immense gravitational weight of the massive political infrastructure it has already accumulated. The party's ongoing dominance will not necessarily be decided by its political rivals. Ultimately, it will be determined by whether its highly engineered organizational machinery can outpace its own structural vulnerabilities.